Let's take a thrift store cutting board that I found on a recent trip and turn it into some really pretty but inexpensive Christmas decor. My name is Cindy and I'm from the blog ReinventedDelaware.com. We love to reinvent and upcycle all sorts of thrift store items like a cutting board like this one and turn it into really pretty and inexpensive home decor. My mind is set for Christmas, so that's what we're working on today. We're going to take this cutting board or breadboard and turn it into a pretty piece for the kitchen for the holiday season. This piece only cost $4.99, and that's a little steep for me for something like this, but honestly, the shape of it was kind of unique. It was really long and narrow, and I liked that, so the $4.99 didn't bother me too much. Now, I say that it was a cutting board, and then I say that it was a breadboard. The more I look at it, the more I realize it's a little bit of both. I think on one side, because it's flat, could be used as a cutting board, and then that grooved side, I can imagine a baguette, a loaf of bread spread out there, and then you can slice it and all the crumbs would go down into those grooves, and that's why I'm thinking this is a breadboard. The first thing that I did with this breadboard was to clean it. Now, I didn't get video of that. I had just kind of done that as soon as I got back from the thrift store. And anyway, what I did was I took a slice of lemon, like a lemon half, and some coarse salt, and I went over the whole thing just to disinfect it and get rid of any oils that might be on it. And then I let it dry overnight. Then the next day, I grabbed some sandpaper and I sanded this thing. Now, I did take that flat side outside to my workshop and I used my orbital sander because it was just easy. But then I brought it back in and I used a rolled up piece of sandpaper to work the sandpaper into the grooves and really make it nice and smooth. I dusted it off and then I got ready to add a decorative transfer to the back side of this cutting board. The transfer that I'm using is called Caroling Cardinals, and one of the designs in this set is this pretty poinsettia grouping of pine cones and berries and poinsettia blooms, really pretty. So it happened to fit my board perfectly. I cut out the excess, and if you see those poinsettias on the top, they're like cut in half. I do have a project coming up soon for those, so make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss that video because I have a plan for this. Anyway, I found the center of my board and then I found the center of the transfer and I matched up the two centers. That way I knew that this design was centered on that board perfectly. Applying the transfer is easy. After you figure out where to place it, you remove that white backing and then you lay it down with the sticky side down. It's slightly tacky, so don't touch it with your fingers. And then you use the tool that it comes with and you rub over top of the clear top protective surface and it will transfer that design onto the wooden surface. It's so easy to get such a pretty look with these transfers. I wanted to share some other ideas of transfers that you could use for a project like this, and I've got them listed here. There's a couple of Christmas designs, there are some autumn and then summer designs, and then my favorite is at the end. It's called Lemon Zest, and oh my goodness, I cannot wait to make something with that. I'll have all of these transfer designs linked just in case you want to keep them on hand for the next time you find a cutting board or a breadboard like mine at your local thrift store. Once you're sure that all of the design has come off of the clear sheet and onto the surface, use that clear sheet to burnish down all of the edges. That'll just ensure that it's really secure. The next step is to spray it with a clear spray wax. I love doing this because it's so easy. And I lay down some brown paper. This protects the surface that I'm working on, and then I just give the bottle a good shake and I spray down the whole thing. I spray down the sides, the top, the front, the back, all of it. Now, it's turning like a yellow color. Don't worry, once it's soaked in and cured, it'll go back to that really pretty natural color that we got when we sanded this cutting board down. All you do is you give it a nice even coat all the way around the whole piece, and then you use a dry paper towel and wipe off the excess. I repeated this step about 2 times just to give it a nice seal. Stick with me till the end of the video because I have other ways that you can use this transfer, and I can't wait to show you. For now, let's look at the before and the after. Here's how it started, and this is what it looks like. Isn't that so pretty? I'll be able to use this side as a decorative piece in our kitchen just to add a little bit of Christmas over to our coffee area. I'll show you here in a minute. I'll also be able to use the grooved side when I'm serving bread at our next family gathering. I can just see a baguette laid out on this and just slicing off that warm bread. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. I could display this piece here on the countertop like I do here in our little cafe, but I could also hang it up on a wall. It's got that hole. I could just put a hook and hang it up. That would be so pretty because this design is not top or bottom or left or right or any of that. Here are some other ideas for this transfer. It can be used to make paper ornaments, gift tags. I'm going to be using it to make over a serving tray, and I'm even going to use these designs to create a really inexpensive garland. I'm still working on that video, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss these projects. I promised a bonus project, so here it is. This is another cutting board that I did pretty much the same thing. I cleaned it, I sanded it, and then I applied another transfer to it, but not before I took a sharp tool to it and I chopped it up to give it deliberate marks. I wanted it to look old and rustic, so I just took to that cutting board and I kind of hacked at it. That was kind of fun. And then I applied a product called Restore Finish, and the Restore Finish was a dark color, so it settled into all those grooves that I'm making with the knife, and it just really created a rustic and country look on this cutting board. Then I chose the transfer that I wanted to use, and I applied that exactly the same way that I applied this one. Now, if you find these cutting boards and you get some transfers, you could make some really pretty Christmas gifts for people. It doesn't have to have a Christmas design. It could be one like this here that you just create for someone that you know that they would enjoy this in their kitchen, and you've created a beautiful one-of-a-kind piece to give as a Christmas gift to someone who you know would enjoy it. You've had a lot of fun making the project. They have a lot of fun receiving it and then decorating their home with it. It's just good all the way around. Let me know down in the comments, do you enjoy using transfers on your thrift store finds? I sure do, and I want to hear if you love using them too. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I'll see you next time.